We're moving on up to the East Side. That's the tune we all know and love from the Jeffersons. This classic sitcom, a creation of Norman Lear, ran for 11 seasons, kicking off each episode with a cheerful melody by another TV legend, Jeanette Dubois, who also played the lively neighbor on Good Times. Every New Yorker has sung this catchy theme song at least once. Just like its parent show, All in the Family, the Jeffersons tackled tough topics like addiction, prejudice, suicide, and gender identity, making it one of the most influential sitcoms ever. Today, we're heading back to Manhattan to catch up with our favorite family, the Jeffersons. Isabel Sanford as Louise Jefferson. Louise Jefferson, a.k.a. Wheezy, is similar to Edith Bunker from All in the Family, in that they are both kind-hearted and level-headed women married to hot-tempered husbands. Wheezy always has a witty retort ready when George goes on one of his rants. This dynamic duo proves that relationships can thrive despite personality differences. Interestingly, Isabel Sanford, who portrayed Wheezy, was born Eloise Gwendolyn Sanford in Harlem, New York City, to Josephine, née Perry, and James Edward Sanford. She was the youngest of 7 children and the only one to survive infancy. Influenced by her deeply religious mother, Sanford attended church regularly. Following the cancellation of The Jeffersons in 1985, Sanford continued to pursue acting opportunities in television and film. In January 1987, she headlined her own sitcom, Isabel's Honeymoon Hotel, which aired in syndication 5 days a week. The show, designed to showcase Sanford's comedic talent, unfortunately, failed to find its audience and was swiftly canceled. Sanford's contributions to the entertainment industry were recognized in January 2004 with a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Her final television appearance came the following month as an animated version of herself in The Simpsons episode Milhouse Doesn't Live Here Anymore. Sanford married house painter William Edward Sonny Richmond in 1945. They had 3 children together, 2 sons, Sanford K. Richmond and Eric Richmond, and a daughter, Pamela Richmond Ruff, before separating in 1960. Following the separation, Sanford relocated with her children to Los Angeles while Richmond stayed in New York, passing away later that same year. In September 2003, Sanford underwent surgery on her carotid artery as a preventive measure. However, her health gradually deteriorated in the months that followed. She was admitted to Cedars-Sinai Medical Center on July 4, 2004, and passed away 5 days later at the age of 86 due to natural causes, as reported by her publicist, Sherman Hemsley, as George Jefferson. Get ready for the no-nonsense, outspoken George Jefferson, who first gained popularity through his memorable face-offs with none other than Archie Bunker. Watching this feisty character was an absolute riot, especially during his boxing contest. George may have been blunt, but deep down he meant well and worked hard. Before stepping into the spotlight, Hemsley performed with local groups in Philadelphia. He then moved to New York to study under Lloyd Richards at the Negro Ensemble Company. Soon after, he joined Vinette Carroll's Urban Arts Company, appearing in a string of productions, including But Never Jam Today, The Lottery, Old Judge Mose is Dead, Moon on a Rainbow Shawl, Step Lively Boys, Croesus, and The Witch. Hemsley's Broadway debut came with Pearly, and he toured with the show for a year. While he was still performing in Pearly, Norman Lear reached out to him in 1971, offering the recurring role of George Jefferson in the upcoming sitcom All in the Family. Initially reluctant to leave his theater role, Hemsley joined the cast 2 years later, as Lear had promised to keep the role open for him. In 1989, Hemsley, a jazz keyboardist himself, released a single called Ain't That a Kick in the Head, followed by an album of rhythm and blues music titled Dance in 1992. Around the time of the album's release, he appeared on Soul Train and performed the song Eyes in the Dark. Interestingly, Hemsley was an avid fan of 1970s progressive rock bands, including Yes, Gentle Giant, Gong, and Nectar. Contrary to the bold characters he portrayed, Hemsley was a shy and intensely private individual, even described by some as reclusive. He steered clear of the Hollywood spotlight, and very little was known about his personal life beyond the facts that he never married and had no children. However, in 2003, he granted a rare video interview to the Archive of American Television, offering a glimpse into his world. Sadly, Hemsley passed away at his home in El Paso, Texas, on July 24, 2012, at the age of 74 due to superior vena cava syndrome, a complication associated with lung and bronchial carcinomas. According to the El Paso County, Texas Medical Examiner's report, he had been battling a malignant mass in one of his lungs, for which chemotherapy and radiation had been recommended. Franklin cover as Tom Willis. Tom Willis, the husband of Helen, often finds himself the target of George's jokes. Despite this, the two share a close friendship, and their playful banter is an integral part of their dynamic. A memorable episode showcases the trio trapped together in George's bathroom. Sheldon Leonard Cover, known by the stage name Sherman Hemsley, entered the world on November 20, 1928, in Cleveland, Ohio, to parents Britta, Shrek, and Franklin Held Cover. He completed his secondary education at John Marshall High School in 1947 and proceeded to Denison University, obtaining his degree in 1951. Cover furthered his studies at Case Western Reserve University, acquiring a Master of Arts in Theater in 1954 and a Master of Fine Arts in Theater in 1955. His acting career took off with roles in Shakespearean plays like Henry IV, Part 1, and Hamlet. His television debut occurred on the show Naked City, and he subsequently appeared on The Jackie Gleason Show. In 1965, he exchanged wedding vows with Mary Bradford Stone, and in 1975, he portrayed Hubert Humphrey in the TV movie A Woman Called Golda. Post The Jeffersons, Cover maintained a presence in the entertainment industry through guest roles on various television programs and a supporting part in the film Wall Street, 1987. In 1994, he graced the screens in the second episode of ER. His last television appearance was on Will and Grace, in an episode titled Object of My Rejection, broadcast on May 13, 1999. Cover passed away at the Lillian Booth Actors Home in Englewood, New Jersey, on February 5, 2006, where he had been residing since December 2005, recuperating from a heart condition. The cause of death was attributed to pneumonia. Roxy Roker as Helen Willis. Helen Willis, portrayed by the immensely talented Roxy Roker, was an adored character on The Jeffersons. As Louise Jefferson's dearest friend, she was ever present in the Jeffersons' lives and an integral part of their community. Helen was known for her endearing qualities, a warm and witty personality combined with unwavering loyalty. She brought a sense of realism to the often exaggerated world of the show. Her groundbreaking on-screen marriage to Tom Willis, a white man, confronted racial prejudice head-on, and the couple bravely navigated the challenges that came with it. Their enduring relationship served as a powerful symbol of love and tolerance. Roxy Roker's professional journey began with the Negro Ensemble Company, where she flourished as a stage actress and earned a Tony Award nomination for her compelling performance as Mattie Williams in The River Niger. In the 1970s, she added another dimension to her career by working as a reporter for WNEW-TV in New York and hosting a public affairs show called Inside Bed-Stuy, which focused on the happenings in the Brooklyn neighborhood. She also contributed to the television miniseries Roots and the movie Claudine. Beyond her acting accomplishments, Roker was a passionate children's advocate, recognized by the city of Los Angeles for her dedicated community work. On a personal note, Roxy Roker's life mirrored art, as she, like her character Helen Willis, was married to a white man, television producer Cy Kravitz, in 1962. They shared a son, the immensely talented singer-songwriter and actor Lenny Kravitz, born on May 26, 1964. Unfortunately, the couple divorced in 1985. Interestingly, Roker was also distantly related to weather anchor Al Roker, as they were second cousins once removed. Roxy Roker's legacy came to an end on December 2, 1995, when she passed away in Los Angeles, California, after a battle with breast cancer. She was 66 years old. Paul Benedict as Harry Bentley. Harry Bentley, the Jeffersons' lively next-door neighbor, worked as a colorful UN interpreter. Bentley is a kind soul, but his playboy English demeanor rubs George the wrong way. Despite their differences and arguments, they find common ground in friendship. Benedict, a native of Silver City, New Mexico, was born to Alma Marie Loring, a journalist, and Mitchell M. Benedict, a doctor. He spent his formative years in Massachusetts, attending Boston College High School and Suffolk University. Benedict dedicatedly served in the U.S. Marine Corps. His distinctive jaw and nose, partially a result of acromegaly, caught the eye of Universal Studios talent scout Maury Dexter, who spotted Benedict's unique potential. Norman Lear, impressed by Benedict's talent, cast him as a Zen Buddhist in Cold Turkey, filmed in 1969, but not released until 1971. Benedict's collaboration with Lear continued across various television projects. He also made a notable appearance in a 1998 Seinfeld episode, portraying a New Yorker magazine editor quizzed by Elaine about a cartoon. His final television role was a guest appearance on The Drew Carey Show in 2002. Benedict's talent extended beyond the screen, and in 2007, he performed in Harold Pinter's No Man's Land at the American Repertory Theater in Cambridge, Massachusetts. His directorial prowess shone in Broadway and off-Broadway productions, including Frank D. Gilroy's Any Given Day and Terrence McNally's Frankie and Johnny in The Clair de Lune. Benedict also directed The Kathy and Mo Show, which garnered an Obie Award. Sadly, on December 1, 2008, Benedict passed away from a brain hemorrhage at his home in Aquinnah, Martha's Vineyard, at the age of 70. He was honored with a posthumous Elliot Norton Award by the Boston Theater Critics Association in 2009. Ned Werdimer as Ralph Hart. As the doorman of the building, he was the genial greeter of the Jeffersons and their guests on a daily basis. Ralph wasn't merely a doorman. He was a trusted confidant, a fount of local gossip, and an endless wellspring of humor. His droll wit and rapid retorts endeared him to fans as a beloved character. Werdimer first entered the world on October 27, 1923, in Buffalo, New York, and would go on to obtain a business administration degree from the prestigious University of Pennsylvania's Wharton School. During his time there, he joined the esteemed ranks of the Mask and Wig Club, an all-male comedy and musical troupe. Upon completing his education, Werdimer ventured to New York City, where he graced the Broadway stage in productions such as the 1949 musical Texas Lil Darlin' by Robert E. Dolan and Johnny Mercer, The Live Wire in 1950 by Garson Kanin, The Disenchanted in the same year by Bud Schulberg alongside Jason Robards, and finally, All in Good Time in 1963, written by Bill Naughton. He also delved into the then-novel medium of television, showcasing his improvisational prowess as a recurring guest on The Shari Lewis Show. The world of cinema also beckoned, and Werdimer answered the call, appearing in the 1970 film C.C. and Company. He was a long-standing member of the Performers Guilds, the Screen Actors Guild, and the American Federation of Television and Radio Artists, which unified in 2012. Wertheimer's sense of adventure took him across the globe, whether riding a camel in Egypt or an elephant in Thailand, and even swimming in Australia's Great Barrier Reef. Beyond his union involvement, Werdimer served as a voting member for the Academy of Television Arts and Sciences Emmy Awards. Following his relocation to California in the mid-1960s, he met and married Dr. Skine Uku, a professor emeritus at California State University, Long Beach. Wertheimer passed away on January 2, 2013, at the Sherman Village Healthcare Center in Los Angeles at the venerable age of 89. According to his manager, Wertheimer had never fully recovered from a fall at his Burbank, California residence in November 2012. Marla Gibbs as Florence Johnston. Marla Gibbs masterfully portrays Florence Johnston, the Jeffersons' housekeeper, with a feisty attitude, sharp tongue, and unwavering religious devotion. Florence frequently teased George, often targeting his short stature and receding hairline. In one memorable episode, George even requests that Florence insult him to impress a prospective business partner who enjoyed her witty retorts. Marla Gibbs, born Margaret Bradley, made her entrance into the world in Chicago, Illinois at Cook County Hospital and was raised in the vibrant Bronzeville neighborhood on the city's south side. In 1963, Gibbs embarked on a journey to Los Angeles with the intention of recuperating from an ulcer, and she soon found herself working as a reservations agent for United Airlines. Her acting journey began in local Los Angeles black theater, and she landed her first acting role in the early 1970s, showcasing her talent in the blaxploitation films Sweet Jesus, Preacher Man, and Black Belt Jones. When the Jeffersons concluded its impressive 11-season run in 1985, Gibbs seamlessly transitioned into the lead role on the NBC sitcom 227. In 2021, Gibbs added another feather to her cap by joining the cast of Days of Our Lives as the recurring character Olivia Price. From 1981 to 1999, Gibbs owned and operated Marla's Memory Lane Jazz and Supper Club, a jazz club in South Central LA that became a beloved fixture of the local music scene. She also showcased her vocal talents by releasing several albums. In 1990, she relocated her Crossroads Arts Academy and Theater to the former Limert Theater in Los Angeles, with ambitious plans to construct a second stage. Unfortunately, the project encountered financial challenges and concluded in debt in June 1997. Gibbs shared her life with her high school sweetheart, Jordan Gibbs, from 1955 to 1973. Together, they raised 3 children, Angela, Dorian, and Joseph. Her late older sister, actress Susie Garrett, portrayed Betty Johnson, Cherie's grandmother, on the beloved NBC series Punky Brewster. Following in her mother's footsteps, Gibbs's daughter Angela also pursued acting and appeared in various projects, including Sanford and Son, Together Brothers, Drumline, and Think Like a Man Too. Damon Evans as Lionel Jefferson. Lionel Jefferson, the militant son, forges a strong bond with Archie Bunker's son-in-law, Meathead. Unperturbed by Archie's antics, Lionel finds amusement in his behavior and possesses a quick wit himself. Evans, a Baltimore native, honed his craft at the Interlochen Center for the Arts, thanks to a scholarship from Reader's Digest. Following his graduation, he pursued further studies at the Boston Conservatory of Music. During his time in Boston, he showcased his talent in productions such as Two If by Sea, Hair, and The Corner with the Theater Company of Boston. Off-Broadway, he graced the stage in plays like A Day in the Life of Just About Everyone, Bury the Dead, with the Urban Arts Corp., and Love Me, Love My Children. He made his Broadway debut in The Me Nobody Knows, followed by roles in Via Galactica and Lost in the Stars. Evans also toured as both Judas and Jesus Christ in the authorized concert version of the renowned musical Jesus Christ Superstar Cope. In the late 1980s, Evans added a notable credit to his repertoire with his appearance in Trevor Nunn's Glyndebourne Festival production of George Gershwin's opera, Porgy and Bess. He reprised his role in the 1993 television adaptation of this acclaimed production. This British interpretation of Gershwin's American folk opera featured the distinguished Glyndebourne Chorus and the London Philharmonic, both conducted by the esteemed Sir Simon Rattle. Evans embodied the character of Sport and Life, a role originally created by John W. Bubbles and crafted with the iconic 1920s and 1930s jazz band leader and singer Cab Calloway in mind. On a personal note, Evans identifies as gay and was a witness to the historic 1969 Stonewall riots, a pivotal event in the fight for LGBTQ+ rights. J. Hammer as Alan Willis. Alan Willis, the son of Helen and Tom Willis on the Jeffersons, started as a peripheral character but soon rose to prominence. Serving as a link between the show's older and younger audiences, his role became increasingly central over time. J. Hammer, the American actor known for his lengthy stint as freelance journalist Fletcher Reed on CBS Daytime's Guiding Light from 1984 to 1998, briefly reappeared in 1999 and again for the show's finale in 2009. Hammer's other acting credits include appearances in The Blue Knight, Kojak, Mannix, Sons and Daughters, Emergency, and Adam 12. His theatrical performances include off-Broadway shows, such as Passing Through from Exotic Places and Serenading Louie. In 1981, he portrayed Max Decker, a ranch forehand, on Texas. Hammer's personal life included a marriage to Maria Louise Tanner from 1967 to 1981, which produced a son. He later had 2 more sons with Texas and Guiding Light writer Pamela K. Long, and in 1990 he married Denise Nardi. They had a daughter together. Interestingly, Hammer also wrote for Guiding Light under the pseudonym Charles J. Hammer. Zara Cully as Mother Jefferson. Zara Cully, a talented actress, portrayed George's mother, Olivia, affectionately known as Mother Jefferson. Her character was known for her constant disparagement of her daughter-in-law. Interestingly, Cully had first appeared on the popular sitcom All in the Family in the episode Lionel's Engagement in 1974, and she reprised this role for the Jeffersons. She was a regular fixture in the first 2 seasons, but her appearances became more sporadic over the next 2 years, during which her noticeably thinner frame could be attributed to a severe case of pneumonia. Sadly, Cully passed away in 1978 from lung cancer, which led to her character being written out in Season 4. While there was no specific episode centered on Mother Jefferson's death, it was mentioned occasionally in subsequent episodes. Zara Frances Cully, the eldest of 10 surviving children born to Ambrose E. and Nora Ann Cully, entered the world on January 26, 1892, in Worcester, Massachusetts. After a remarkable performance in New York City in 1940, she earned the title of one of the world's greatest elocutionists. Her journey then took her to Jacksonville, Florida, where she showcased her multifaceted talent by producing, writing, directing, and acting in a myriad of plays. For 15 years, she dedicated herself to teaching drama, both at her own studio and at Edward Waters College, a historic black college with a proud legacy of educating freed slaves since its founding in 1866. Cully's reputation as Florida's Dean of Drama grew during this time. However, the pervasive racism of the Jim Crow-era South troubled her deeply, prompting her to relocate to Hollywood, where she found a home at the Ebony Showcase Theater as a regular performer. Cully's personal life included a marriage to James M. Brown, Jr., which lasted from 1914 until his passing in 1968. They had 4 children together, Mrs. Mary Gale, Polly Buggs, whose husband, John A. Buggs, served as Deputy Director of the U.S. Civil Rights Commission, Emerson T. Brown, James M. Brown III, and a baby daughter. Sadly, Zara Cully left her earthly stage on February 28, 1978, at the Cedars-Sinai Medical Center in Los Angeles, succumbing to lung cancer at the age of 86, Mike Evans as Lionel Jefferson. The role of Lionel was initially portrayed by Mike Evans. It was a stroke of luck for Mike that Norman Lear was unable to secure his top choice, Cleavon Little from Blazing Saddles. Evans exited the show after the inaugural season, citing his desire for more screen time. Salisbury, North Carolina, was Evans's place of birth. His father, Theodore Evans Sr., practiced dentistry, while his mother, Annie Sue Evans, was a teacher by profession. He received his education at the Palmer Memorial Institute, a prestigious private school catering to young African Americans in Sedalia, North Carolina. Evans relocated with his family to Los Angeles, eventually graduating from Los Angeles High School. He pursued his passion for acting at Los Angeles City College. Evans, a drama major with no prior acting experience, landed his breakthrough role when All in the Family producer and director John Rich selected him to portray Lionel Jefferson, son of the bunker's new black neighbors. Show developer Norman Lear favored Cleavon Little for the part, but Rich advocated for an actor who would come across as less threatening. During its second and final season, 1976-77, Evans portrayed Lenny on the Danny Thomas situation comedy The Practice. In addition to acting, Evans was a savvy real estate investor with properties in California's Inland Empire. At the age of 57, Evans passed away from throat cancer while at his mother's residence in 29 Palms, California. Notably, Mike Evans never married, a fact confirmed by recent interviews with his daughters and corroborated by his own statements in late 1970s newspaper interviews, where he identified himself as an unmarried man. He is survived by his two daughters, mother, brother, cousin, and niece, Danny Wells as Charlie. Danny Wells, who played Charlie, the affable bartender and owner of a local watering hole frequented by the cast of The Jeffersons, had a multifaceted career in both film and television. Born Jack Westelman in Montreal on April 7, 1941, to parents Eli and Eunice, he embraced his Jewish heritage. His on-screen journey commenced in 1972 with a comedic turn on Love American Style. The year 1975 marked Wells's cinematic debut in The Strongest Man in the World, followed by a string of memorable appearances in box office hits. He shared the screen with comedic greats Goldie Hawn and Eileen Brennan in Private Benjamin, 1980, and joined Gene Wilder in The Woman in Red, 1984. With versatility as his trademark, Wells later appeared in critically acclaimed dramas Magnolia, 1999, and The Last Kiss, 2006, portraying the uncle of Michael Weston's character, Izzy. Venturing into voice acting, Wells' first foray was in 1982, lending his vocals to the character of Stomper No. 1 in Ralph Bakshi's animated feature, Hey, Good Looking. This opened the door to numerous voice roles in films, TV shows, and even video games, such as Descent 3 and Wizardry 8. He also landed a role in the animated series Heathcliff and the Cadillac Cats in 1984, which spawned the feature film Heathcliff the Movie in 1986. Sadly, Wells's vibrant career came to an end in 2013 when he passed away in Toronto on November 28th from cancer. Erwin Keyes as Hugo Modzelowski. Erwin Keyes achieved his greatest popularity with his recurring role as oafish bodyguard Hugo Modzelowski on the sitcom The Jeffersons. Keyes was born in New York City on March 16, 1952, and grew up in Amityville, New York, graduating from Amityville Memorial High School in 1970. He made his acting debut in a college production of The Lower Depths by Maxim Gorky. Known for playing likable lugs, brutal goons, and powerful authority figures, Erwin had a diverse career spanning horror, comedy, thriller, science fiction, and action genres. He made guest appearances on numerous TV shows, including Laverne and Shirley, Police Squad, Moonlighting, Married with Children, 30-something, Growing Pains, Tales from the Crypt, and CSI, Crime Scene Investigation. Keyes also ventured into television commercials, music videos, and voiceover work for video games, showcasing his versatility until his passing. On July 8, 2015, Keyes passed away at the Playa del Rey Center in Los Angeles, California, due to complications of acromegaly. He was 63 years old. Garrett Morris as Jimmy. In the years 1983 and 1984, the illustrious Garrett Morris graced the screens in no less than 5 episodes of the beloved sitcom The Jeffersons, portraying the character Jimmy with his signature wit and charm. Morris, a native of New Orleans, Louisiana, entered the world on February 1, 1937, and endured a challenging upbringing in the Gert Town neighborhood. The following year, he took on the role of Chocolate Chip Charlie in Larry Cohen's The Stuff, a satirical nod to the famous Amos cookie brand. As his star continued to rise, Morris embarked on a recurring role in 1986 as Arnold Sporty James on the gripping NBC cop drama Hunter, sharing the screen with Fred Dreyer and Stepfanie Kramer. Fast forward to 1998, and Morris delighted audiences once more by appearing as himself in the 5th season of the eccentric Space Ghost Coast to Coast. The new millennium brought new opportunities, and in 2002, Morris made a memorable cameo appearance on Saturday Night Live, hosted by the talented Brittany Murphy. 4 years later, he reprised his role as the headmaster of the New York School for the Hard of Hearing on the animated comedy Family Guy in an episode titled Barely Legal. Demonstrating his versatility, Morris made a cameo appearance in the 2015 Marvel blockbuster Ant-Man, paying homage to his roots by referencing an old SNL sketch. The world got a glimpse of Morris's family life in 2016 when he and his loved ones competed on ABC's Celebrity Family Feud against Alfonso Ribeiro and his friends. With no signs of slowing down, Morris graced the NBC show This Is Us in 2018, and in 2019 showcased his comedic prowess once more in the 5th episode of the hilarious A Black Lady sketch show, leaving audiences in stitches with the episode titled Why Are Her Pies Wet, Lord? Berlinda Tolbert as Jenny Willis Jefferson. The iconic character of Jenny Willis Jefferson, gracefully portrayed by the immensely talented Berlinda Tolbert, was an integral part of the beloved sitcom The Jeffersons. Jenny, the brilliant and feisty daughter of Helen and Tom Willis, captured the hearts of viewers with her strong-willed personality and compelling storyline. Her relationship with Lionel Jefferson, the son of George and Louise, broke new ground on television, tackling the sensitive issues of interracial marriage and racial prejudice head-on. Berlinda Tolbert's portrayal of Jenny was marked by a delicate balance of independence and deep familial ties. Her character's dynamic with her in-laws and extended family added depth to the show's narrative. It's no surprise that Tolbert, a theater major from the University of North Carolina School of the Arts in Winston-Salem, with a stint in drama studies in London, dedicated her life to the craft of acting. She shared, "I've only had one job in my entire life, professional actress, and her passion and commitment shine through." Even before The Jeffersons, Tolbert's talent was recognized by none other than Martin Scorsese, who cast her in his 1973 film Mean Streets while she was still in acting school. Post The Jeffersons, Tolbert's career flourished with appearances in films like Harlem Nights, Goodfellas, and Patriot Games, and popular television shows such as ER, 6 Feet Under, and CSI, Crime Scene Investigation. Demonstrating her versatility, Tolbert returned to her indie roots in the 2011 film Last Ride on the Midwest Pacific. On a personal note, Berlinda Tolbert married journalist Bob Reed in 1979, marking a new chapter in her life away from the spotlight. An absolute gem of a show. Norman Lear was a TV giant, and this is one of his greatest hits. The Jeffersons kept us laughing for years, while also sharing important lessons about understanding others. What was your all-time favorite episode? Do you have another Norman Lear favorite? Tell us in the comments, we're listening.